recording. Okay. Yeah. This looks like it's gonna
Chelsea, more whiskey next time. Halfway with the whiskey and then water. Welcome aboard. Come on down, folks. So you get your other better half made, huh? Or your worse half, I don't know. So come on down. We got look at the little miracle coming on board. Love to have the kids. So folks, anyways, welcome to Silver Spring State Park. I'm Captain Luke. I'm going to be your guide on the road today. You guys are going to have to put up with me for half an hour. You think you can do that?
Yes.
Okay, they said yes. Let us go. All right, here we go. Let's get out of here and go have a little bit of fun. Wait a minute. Is there anybody behind me? Kind of important, isn't it? So, I got a couple things Coach Guard likes me to go over before we get going today.
Yep.
I have a fire extinguisher back here. I have one up forward. If we happen to have a fire on board today, I'll ask you to put your life jackets on. They're up above your head. Now, folks, you know the drill. Stick your head through the hole, tie that strap around your waist, and jump overboard. You know what? It is a very nice day today. Why don't we have a mock fire drill?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Yeah. We didn't know what to do.
So, no, we're not going to do that. But, folks, I also have a radio back here. If anybody has an emergency, I can have an ambulance here in 15 minutes, okay? So just let me know if anybody has a problem, okay? So, can everyone hear me okay in the front of the boat? Yeah? Thank you. Well, folks, that glass that you're looking through there, that's a ½ an inch thick. And the water we're traveling on today is all fresh water. There's no saltwater intrusion here. And there's no up and down at the tide. Now, folks, the river's actually 72 degrees year-round. And it's also 99.6% pure water.
Wow.
You can actually drink this water right out of the river. Now, the Silver River goes down about 5 miles. And then it dumps into the Ocklawaha River. From there, it goes 150 miles to the St. Johns River. And eventually, it makes its way north to the Atlantic Ocean. Now, folks, there's a bird over here in this woods right here on the bank there. Yeah. You see with the gold color on the neck? That bird is called anhinga. And the Native Indians called that bird snake bird. They're the only bird in North America. When they swim on top of the water, the only thing sticking up above the surface is their head and their neck. So from a little bit of a distance, they really do. They look like a snake.
Wow.
So snake bird is the slang name for that bird. Now there's some white flowers over here along the bank. See those white ones?
Oh, yeah.
Those are called spider lilies.
Oh, yeah.
And they're kind of pretty, aren't they?
Yeah.
Kind of.
So we'll cruise on down a little farther here. Now, folks, we're going to be looking for birds and fish, obviously, and we're looking for springs, but we're also going to be looking for alligators today. Now, folks, if we haven't spotted any alligators nearing the end of the tour, I will be taking volunteers to jump in and splash around a little bit and see if we can get an alligator to come a little closer to the boat. Do I have any volunteers today? Oh, no.
I'm just doing the wave.
No, we're not going to take any volunteers. I'm just kidding. But anyways, folks, the first spring that we're going to look at today is called the Spring of the Stars. And they call this one the Spring of the Stars because of all the movie stars that make movies here. Stars like Jane Russell, James Dean, Jerry Lewis, Johnny Weissmuller from Tarzan. Look at all the fish there.
Wow.
So, folks, when you look down underneath the boat here, you're going to start to see a big flat rock down.
Wow.
That big flat rock is actually 27 feet deep in the water. See it right there coming up under the glass right now?
Yeah.
So that rock is 27 feet deep, and the water's coming out from underneath that rock. It's kind of coming towards me. You can almost see where it's made a little bit of a trough right there. Mm-hmm. But folks, that spring puts out 500,000 gallons a day.
Wow.
Now, if you were walking around the park, did anybody see any of them big blue fish in the water?
Yes.
Those are called tilapia.
Okay.
Yeah, those are tilapia. Now, can anybody tell me where tilapia come from?
China.
Please don't say Publix.
What
What do you say?
Costa Rica.
China? They might come from China,
Costa Rica.
but my script said West Africa.
Yes.
So I'm not sure. You know what I mean? They might come from those other areas too. You could be right.
I saw them on Dirty Jobs.
Okay, yeah, Dirt with Mike Rowe. So, anyways, folks, back when Tarzan was making his movies here, he actually had trouble with the bank right here in Ocala. And he had to switch branches. Sorry, that's pretty bad.
I like that.
But, so folks, the next spring we're going to look at is called the Creature Spring. And this is where they filmed The Creature from the Black Lagoon. Can you see that split in the rock right there in the front of the boat right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was his little cave. He would go down in that cave. He could hold his breath for 2 minutes. He would go down in that cave right there, and when something came swimming by, he would jump out and get them. I can't scare anybody on this boat today. Well, that one's 30 feet deep, and that one puts out 1 million gallons a day. It's kind of pretty, isn't it? So yeah, they filmed The Creature from the Black Lagoon, Return of the Creature from the Black Lagoon, and The Creature Walks Among Us. So those 3 movies were filmed here. Now there's an island coming up in front of the boat right now. And if you look up in that nest on this end, you'll see a bird up there. We've still got some white feathers on the wings. That's a baby anhinga. It's about 3 weeks old. These birds are getting ready to fly out of that nest up there. There's 2 of them. But once these birds, once they hatch from the egg, 28 days later, those birds are ready to fly. I've never seen anything grow as fast as these birds. Now, folks, the female, she's the one that tells the male where to make the nest. And she'll sit there and watch him make that nest. And if he puts one stick in the wrong spot, she'll tell him to move it. And he will move it. So, guys, just so you know, guys, everything's as it should be, even in bird world. So yeah, you might see the birds up there. They still got a little bit of white on their feathers. So they're not quite ready to fly. You can see one right up there right now. One's up above them. So anyway, we'll cruise on down here and see what else we can find.
Oh wow, some beautiful birds.
Now, folks, coming up underneath the boat, you're going to start to see a lot of grass down here. That grass is called eel grass or ribbon grass. And that's what the manatees eat when they come up here.
Oh wow.
Now, folks, a lot of people think manatees are fat. Manatees only have 3 to 5% body fat on them. They're not fat at all. So that's why when the water gets cold down the river, they'll come up here where the water's always 72. And we love to have the manatees come up here. But folks, if we do happen to see one, we got to be real careful because these manatees are very much protected right now. They're actually more protected than the U.S. president.
Wow.
Yeah. Can you believe that?
Wow.
So let's cruise on up in this next little spot here
Really nice.
and see what else we can find. I know there's a canoe up here in the water. And this canoe it's 600 years old. And they took this canoe out of the water and they took it to the University of Florida to study. And they said it's from the Timucuan Indians. And they were here before the Seminole Indians. But they said it's probably some kind of a ceremonial canoe. Now I should be coming up on this canoe here in just a second. There it is right there. See that piece of wood with a little split in the end of it right there? Yeah, right there. The guy's pointing at it. That's the canoe. And it's about 30 feet long. And they said it's probably a ceremonial canoe of some sort. Now, the Timucuan Indians, they were here before the Seminole Indians. But when they put that canoe back down there, they decided study that structure down there. Yep, that's it right there. But they decided to study that structure down there that looks like a dinosaur's back. See it down there next to the canoe?
Yeah.
And what they discovered was those are just rocks. They're just rocks. But the canoe's pretty cool, isn't it? So anyway, that canoe's almost 3 feet wide, believe it or not. It's really deep in the water, so it really doesn't look, like it should. So it's like an old dugout canoe. But folks, the next spring we're going to look at today is called the Blue Grotto. And the Blue Grotto is what's considered to be a first magnitude spring. Now, to be a first magnitude spring, the spring has to put out at least 65 million gallons a day. Folks, this spring puts out 87 million. Now, it's coming up under the boat right now. And if you look down there, you might see a little bit of a swirl down there between the rocks. When the Native Indians first found this spring, they thought they saw silver down there. So that's how the place got its name, Silver Springs. And when they first started developing down here in Florida, they were doing everything they could think of to try to drain all the water off the wetlands. So they could build more houses, more condos, more theme parks. But they quickly realized that was not a real smart idea. So now the biggest, most expensive environmental restoration project going on the planet today is going on right here in Florida, between Lake Okeechobee and the Florida Everglades. So they're trying to bring everything back to as natural as they can. So good for the state of Florida. It does seem like they care about nature. Although last year they were talking about putting a state park, putting a golf course in one of the state parks. But they quickly shut that idea down.
Yeah.
Now we'll cruise along this edge here and see what else we can find. Now folks, we're going to have to keep our eye out and see if we can find an alligator over here, okay? There might be one over there. So you guys help me look for it. So anyways, coming up here, you guys keep your eye out on the right there and see if you can see one. We might see one. There was a big one. There's a turtle right there. See the turtle on top of that log? That's a red-bellied cooter turtle. Or a Swanee cooter turtle. That's another name for that turtle. And they're not really considered water turtles. They're called basking turtles. And if they don't get out of the water several times a day and dry their skin will rot and they'll die.
Dang.
Have you ever gone in the water for a while and your skin gets wrinkly?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with them. Now, folks, is there an alligator over there?
I don't see one.
No.
Not yet.
Last trip, there was one over here. Big one, man.
Oh, somebody just took a poop. That was a poop.
Well, let's look a little bit more. You might have looked down this way. Who knows? They move around a lot,
Oh, yeah.
So, anyway, those trees that you see along the bank that are a little bit bigger at the bottom, those are called bald cypress. And bald cypress are some of the oldest trees you'll find on the planet.
What is
They
bigger
did
one?
a core sample on a bald cypress tree on the Black River in North Carolina. And when they examined the core, they said, wow, this tree is from 500 BC. And the tree was still alive. Now, the Native Indians called this wood the eternal wood because they thought it lasts forever. And I actually believe that canoe we looked at over there is made out of bald cypress. But folks, there's a bald cypress tree that fell in the water over here, and it's been in here for over 200 years. And if you were to pull this tree out of the water, you could actually make a piece of furniture out of it.
Wow.
Yeah, but folks, I want to show you the tree. But what I really want to show you is what's underneath this tree. There's a boat underneath this tree. Back in the middle 1800s, there was a couple young boys. One was 14 and one was 16. And they decided they were going to cut a hole in the bottom of their rowboat and put a piece of glass in there and start taking people out on the river for 25 cents. Now, folks, if you look underneath this tree right now, see that boat starting to come into view there? Right underneath the glass? So that boat right there is actually dated 1860. And last trip, one of the guys on the boat, he told me he saw the Florida sticker on the side of the boat. I said, I don't know about that. I don't think they were doing registrations back in the 1800s. But that's an old boat right there. Kind of cool though, isn't it? It's about 25 feet long. Now, folks, as I back up a little bit more here, you might see another spring down there. If you look down here, you might see some of that grass moving a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There it is, right over there.
Yeah.
But that's actually the spring. You'll see a black hole there. Let me move the boat a little bit.
Yeah.
Can you see it down there now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like it's right there. Black hole with that green stuff moving.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a spring. It's not a real big one, but you'd be surprised how much water that thing's going to have.
That's
But
crazy.
folks, speaking of boats, I worked on the fishing boats up in Alaska most of my life. I spent 46 years fishing for crabs out of Kodiak in Dutch Harbor. But last year I decided I was going to retire and move down to Florida. So I moved down to Dunellen. But after hanging around the house with my wife and her mom for 2 weeks, I said, you know what? I got to go back on the water. And they're like, yeah, Luke, you got to go back on the water. So here I am working on the glass bottom boat. But folks, I love working on this boat. Do you know why?
Why?
Everybody on this boat is in a good mood. So I appreciate you guys. But if you look out the front window, see that Spanish moss hanging on that tree right there? Back in 1920, there was a guy by the name of Henry Ford. He decided he was going to stuff his car seats with that Spanish moss. Guess what? There's chiggers in there. So the people bought the cars and they started driving around. Next thing you know, they're like, "Oh man, my butt is itching."
I bet.
So that was actually the first auto recall in America.
Wow.
And it was called the Ford Itch. So
The
anyway,
Ford Itch.
Henry Ford, he brought the cars back and he fixed them. But there's an old saying that came from that. Have you ever heard someone take their car into the shop and tell the mechanic, say, "Hey, something's wrong with my engine. Do you think you can get the bugs out of it?" That's where that saying came from. Now, folks, I always check the facts and make sure everything's true before I tell you anything. I look it up on TikTok and Facebook. Because I got to have the facts here, folks. I'm trying to run a boat, you know? TikTok's true, isn't it? It's got to be true, man. I read it on the internet. Come on. So anyway, let's cruise on down here, see what else we can find.
Got ticks too.
Huh?
It's got ticks too.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of bugs in there.
Brought a bunch of their home and put it on the oven and then when I had a tractor.
Yeah.
I had to spray it because it was full of ticks.
Yep. Now there's another end hanger right there. Right in this tree right here. Now, folks, you know why those birds stand around like that with their wings spread?
To hunt.
They're telling you how big the last fish was that they caught. That's a male end hanger. Boy, his feathers don't look too good, do